This is Chargers Now. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we have some major rumors surrounding the Los Angeles Chargers around the 2026 NFL Combine. Obviously, a lot of coaches, a lot of GMs, a lot of scouts, they all met with each other. And that leads to rumors that could be heading into NFL free agency, some potential trades being done, which, by the way, we've already seen a couple NFL trades get done this week. In fact, a couple done today. And the LA Chargers, they weren't left out of any of the news or any of the rumors. So I want to dive into all of the big rumors on today's video. And I think the number one thing that most Chargers fans are talking about, how will the offensive line get improved? Well, the Chargers are linked to the number one center right now in NFL free agency. And that, of course, is Tyler Linderbaum, the center with the Baltimore Ravens. What is the link there with the Chargers? And do the Chargers actually have a legit shot of getting Linderbaum? I'll let you know right after you hit that sub button. We're trying to catch our Panthers Today channel. We are just 400 subscribers. I guess we're just slightly within 400 subscribers of Panthers Today. I want to catch them. We started our channels at the same time. Don't let those losers in Carolina think that they can get ahead of us. Come on in, hit that sub button. We've got you covered for the latest news and rumors around your favorite team. Dan Graziano had this to say on Linderbaum's free agency and those who could be interested in him. The highest paid center in the league is Kansas City's Creed Humphrey at $18 million per year. And while GM Eric DeCosta told reporters at the Combine that the Ravens had made a market-setting offer for Linderbaum, that might not turn out to be enough. The Chargers are looking for interior offensive line help and are a threat to sign Linderbaum. Chargers GM Joe Hortiz was in Baltimore when the Ravens drafted him. So when we look at those top-paid centers in the National Football League, it is very clear that there is a have and have-nots when you look at who's making the most money. And right now, obviously, Creed Humphrey is that number one player. Will Tyler Linderbaum be able to come in and make more money than Creed Humphrey, and will he reset the market? I think that's the big question that some people who have not dove into offensive line play or might not have as much knowledge on offensive line play are definitely kind of looking at right now. And I'll tell you this, Linderbaum's a pretty darn good candidate to be the new top-paid center. When you look at his PFF grades throughout the year of 2025, one of the top guys on those grades, only allowing 2 sacks, which is always going to be huge. Great in run blocking and pass pro as well. And I thought he did a really good job of keeping interior defensive linemen away from Lamar Jackson. What makes Lamar Jackson so great is his ability to run around in the pocket and keep plays alive. That can also make life a little bit more difficult on offensive linemen. As a former offensive lineman, if I'm expecting you to be in one spot, I might try and drive my defensive lineman away from that spot. And if Lamar Jackson starts running towards the spot that I don't expect him to be, well, I might block my guy into a sack. And that has happened before. When you look at the career of Tyler Linderbaum, he just gets better and better each season. Overall, he improves his pass pro for the most part, has slightly gotten better in his run blocking, of course, getting better as well. In 4 years, only given up 5 sacks. That is pretty darn impressive. When I look at Tyler Linderbaum, I believe that he deserves to be the next top-paid center. It feels like every single year there's a player in each position group that hits free agency that deserves to get paid a lot of money. Now, do they necessarily deserve to be the top-paid guy? I don't always believe that. That is not the case when I look at Tyler Linderbaum. He is the best center in the National Football League, or at least has the argument to be the best center in the National Football League. And because he is next in line, well, he deserves to get paid more money. I understand why Linderbaum and his agents would not take that money that the Ravens are reported to have offered, because you might as well hit free agency and see what the maximum amount you can get. When you look at the center position for the Chargers with the retirement of Bradley Bozeman, it makes center even more important for LA, and general manager Joe Hortiz obviously was a part of the crew that brought Linderbaum over to Baltimore. So you factor those two things together, obviously it feels like Hortiz wants Linderbaum and might be willing not just to pay top dollar, but really reset the market. There are rumors floating around right now that Linderbaum might end up making $20 million per year. Chargers, they have the want to do it. They also have the cap space. Remember, right now, LA, they are top 5 in salary cap space. Maybe it's time to go and make a move and go grab Tyler Linderbaum. Build around Justin Herbert. You already have the offensive coordinator that I think can build towards that. I think the next move you make is go and grab that center. Do you want the Chargers to sign Tyler Linderbaum? And to be honest with you, would you pay $20 million? Yes or no? Answer me down below in the comment section. I'm telling you right now that answer is yes. You have the money. You have the need. Pay top dollar. This is like one of those situations where you always pay top dollar for the nicest quality bed or shoes or cars, things that keep you from getting hurt on your legs. I think it's the same thing with Tyler Linderbaum. Pay top dollar for the best center in the National Football League. Go protect Justin Herbert. Next rumor that we need to discuss in today's show are the edge rushers right now in LA, because obviously the Chargers have two top guys that are going to be free agents. Of course, I'm talking about Oweh as well as Khalil Mack. Will the Chargers be able to get a deal done and keep both of those guys in LA? Maybe. It also kind of feels like the Chargers might have a number, and that number to keep both those players in LA might not be as high as most people came into this offseason expecting. Dan Graziano had this to say in that ESPN report. The Chargers have a pair of free agent edge rushers in Oweh and Khalil Mack. They'd like to have them back, but they recognize that there's good depth in free agency and the draft this offseason at edge rusher. This really tracks with what we've kind of heard, especially last week at the NFL Combine. General Manager Joe Hortiz has made it very clear that he's done a lot of scouting when it comes to the draftable players in this edge rushing class, and he has said it's very deep. There's also a lot of deep edge rushers in free agency, so there's a potential here where the Chargers say, we're going to get the same production or similar type of production from a different type of edge rusher, whether it's in free agency or in the draft, and we think that if Oweh or Khalil Mack, they want a higher contract number than we're willing to pay, well, we'll just move on from them and sign someone elsewhere. Jeremy Fowler had this to expand upon Oweh as well. The sense at the end of the week is Trey Hendrickson of the Bengals and Oweh Chargers will probably not be franchise tagged. Obviously, that could change over the next 48 hours, but Oweh has not received any indication that he will be tagged, and most around the league would be surprised if the Bengals tagged Hendrickson. That is very important because it makes it clear that the Chargers are okay with Oweh going into free agency. They don't believe that he deserves or would be worthy of paying that free agency tag number, or franchise tag number, and so they're not going to do it. When you look at the season that both Mack and Oweh had, obviously very successful, and the Chargers team was better when they were both on the field, especially when Khalil Mack was on the field. Obviously, defense took a little bit of dip in the run game when he got hurt. But it seems very clear to me that the Chargers think that they can find added value for a lesser price, or similar value for a smaller price. And I think that's going to be important when you look at free agency, which is coming right around the corner. Don't be shocked if you don't see both of these guys end back up in LA. Don't be shocked if the Chargers end up coming out and only returning one between Khalil Mack or Oweh. I feel like at this point it's been pretty clear to all of us that Khalil Mack is going to come back. I don't believe that he is going to retire, although those rumors are still out there. And so if both players are going to come back, it seems pretty clear to me that the Chargers are comfortable paying one, but maybe not both, or they've already come to the understanding that maybe Oweh is going to go follow his former defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter, and go back to the Baltimore Ravens. He had a lot of success with Minter, so maybe the Chargers are saying, hey, we're at pick 22. We can get a pretty good edge rusher, or we think we can get a very good but underutilized edge rusher like a Boye Mafe type potentially in NFL free agency, and we'll get them for less money than it would cost to get one or both of these guys. I think the Chargers will have one. I don't know if they'll have both. Make sure that you hit that thumbs up button on today's video. You love the LA Chargers. We love covering the LA Chargers. All types of news or rumors around the Chargers, we're going to have to you. Hit that thumbs up button. The more likes that we get on these videos, the easier it is for me to go to the bosses here at Chat Sports and say, we need to do more Chargers videos. Look at how much people like our content. The last rumor or news, story that we should talk about is Quentin Johnston and whether or not the Chargers should end up signing his 5th-year extension. Now, this is going to be a very difficult decision, I believe, for the Chargers because Johnston, I would say, has not lived completely up to being the first round pick that everyone kind of thought or hoped that he could be out of TCU. But to sit here and say that he is a bust would be completely wrong. I think that Quentin Johnston has done a fantastic job with the Chargers, but I still think that everyone was hoping that he would reach a little bit grandioser of heights. Right now, with that fifth-year extension, Johnston would be set to make $18 million, and the Chargers are going to have until May to make that decision. When you look at the last year of Johnston's playing career, I would say that the reception number is not nearly high enough for a lot of Chargers fans and a lot of people that cover the Chargers, myself included. I would say that the yardage number is fine, but where I do find Johnston making the most of his abilities and why this becomes such a difficult decision for the Chargers is because of how well he plays in the low red zone. Now, Johnston has had back-to-back years where he's had 8 touchdowns, and in fact, I do think if he had stayed healthy for the entire year, there's a chance that he would have actually had more than 8 touchdowns. You can also see that each year Johnston has gotten better and better and better. Now, what's going to be very important for Johnston's growth is his ability to start holding onto the football a little bit more effectively when it comes to catching the football. He's had a little bit of issues with drops in the past, and that's something that clearly needs to get fixed. I don't believe that this is an easy decision. What the Chargers are going to have to do if they decide to extend Johnston to that 5th year is they're going to have to see a little bit more production out of him on the field. $18 million is a lot to pay a wide receiver, especially for a guy who has not yet made a Pro Bowl, which is obviously always the hope for a first-round draft pick wide receiver. I think that Johnston has shown that each year he is in the league, he gets better and better, and that is something that is important to take into account as well. If Johnston stays healthy last year, not only does he have a career year in catches and yards and touchdowns, but he could potentially have had an even greater career year or blown out his previous career highs out of the water. So that is important to note as well. If Johnston's able to stay healthy, well, now he looks like maybe someone who could potentially be a number 1 wide receiver in the National Football League. It is going to be a difficult decision for General Manager Joe Hortiz, and I do not envy him. The last thing that you want to do is not give that 5th-year extension and then Johnston go out and get a Pro Bowl season or potentially even an All-Pro type of season. We'll see what Hortiz decides to do, but don't be shocked if the Chargers wait all the way until the very last minute to do that 5th-year extension or to make a decision on Johnston's 5th-year extension. The Chargers need to give Johnston his 5th-year extension. That was something that was told to me in the comment section of a previous video. Do you agree with that comment? Yes or no? You'll let me know if you agree by typing agree or disagree down below in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Hit that sub button. We're trying to catch our Panthers Today channel. They took off on their chat sports history or the beginning of their chat sports history. I want to make sure that we can catch up to them now. The best way to do that, well, all you got to do, you hit that sub button. We're going to keep you covered with the latest news and rumors, and hopefully we'll catch the Panthers today as well. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video, and bolt up!